Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, we're talking Crucible. Welcome to another TWAB, Guardians. Time is flying by, and we're once again on the doorstep of another Destiny 2 season. We can't believe we're saying this, but we're already over halfway through November, which means we're just a few weeks away from Season Redacted. This week, we'll be running through a few fun topics with you all. In the immediate time frame, it's Trans Awareness Week. We have some wonderful words from the Trans at Bungie Inclusion Club. Next week, we're kicking off the Elixir Quarter community event. While Spider has a sweet space, we think it's time to make some improvements for our friends. We also have some news on narrative bug fixes and a few changes to the Scallywag seal requirements. We also have a short and sweet update from our game security team. We've introduced a few new detection methods to help keep things cleaner. And next season, we're kicking off our Crucible updates. There's quite a bit to talk through, so we provided a TLDR at the start of the section if you're in a hurry. I'll be honest with you, we're trying to keep this TWAB under 6,000 words. Spoiler alert, we didn't. It's always fun to have chunky blog articles, but they can be a bit rough to trim on our weekly communications timeline. Sometimes, there's just a lot of news. If you want to carve out some time to deep dive, this might end up being a 30+ minute read. Keep in mind, we're taking next week off from our TWAB cycle for Thanksgiving here in the States, so after this read, we won't be seeing you again in a TWAB until December the 1st. Alright, starting with Trans Awareness Week. Guys, if you're interested, Transgender Awareness Week actually started November the 13th and ends November the 19th. So for those that show support and want to rep this emblem, there will be a code on your screen for you to check out, guys. Pretty cool emblem. Moving on. Community event improving the Elixir Quarter. Since Season the Splicer, we've been finding our new Elixir friends in some of the most unexpected places. Many corners of our tower have become safe havens for them, even if they're struggling with vending machines. A space in the last city was also carved out to serve as a home for them. However, we've been noticing that the Elixir Quarter is a bit cold. While Spider has set up a cozy little shop to house his business dealings, many are still taking up residence in places without walls, shelter, or warmth. And Mr. Axe is calling upon us to aid in improving their living environments. Starting next Tuesday, the Elixir Quarter community event is beginning, and here's how you can help. All Guardians will be asked to collect treasure in the forms of Captain coins from around the system to donate towards the Elixir Quarter, helping Spider with improvements and upkeep, while Mr. Axe and Ido devote their time to researching the relics of Nezeract. Now, Captain's coins can be found in destination chests, lost sectors, public events, and of course, Season the Plunder, Catch Crash, and Expedition activities. You can also find Captain's coins in the King's Fall raid, Dares of Eternity, Strikes, Crucible, and Gamut. Each Guardian will have their own personal donations reward track with an emblem, upgrade materials, and a new swashbuckling ghost shell. The community as a whole will pull the treasures together to help Misrax and Spider improve their Elixir Quarter, receiving a global community earned rewards and special Elixir thank you gifts along the way. Guardians may even find deep sight weapons to help them with completing their crafting collection. The community event only lasts for 2 weeks, so tell your friends, assemble a fire team, and track down that treasure. As the event progresses, we're excited to see things shape up for our fallen friends. Stay tuned for updates on your progress. Guys, I don't really know how interactive this community event is going to be. I mean, essentially it's just like, yo, play the game. You'll get these Captain coins and you upgrade the Elixir Quarter. Hopefully it's going to be a little more engaging and of course fleshes out the narrative a little more. And on top of that, I hope the improvements in the Elixir Quarter are something noticeable. We'll see though. Now, comms are clear. Just in time for this little event, we also have a quick message from our development team dealing with narrative voiceovers. So from the dev team, due to some space pirate meddling, the voiceover dialogue in the Catch, Crash, and Expedition may not have accurately reflected a character's progress through the seasonal story. We made those bugs walk the plank, and now the correct lines will play for anyone who wants to jump back in for the community event or do some last-minute campaign completions before Season 19 drops. Now, the Scallywag title requirements updates. Next Tuesday, we'll also have some changes coming to Season the Plunder and its title. Specifically, we'll be reducing some requirements to unlock Scallywag. We have some words from the development team to explain the changes. So from the dev team, we've looked at the data and the Season the Plunder seal and title is harder to acquire than originally intended. To earn the seal, you'll still need to complete the vast majority of Plunder content and show mastery over the seasonal activities. Seals are meant to be an aspirational goal, but our data shows that certain triumphs were overtuned. We're taking the feedback around Destiny's grind to heart, which is why we made the decision to deploy the following changes before season concludes. So first, drop Ruffian completion value to 10, which is down from 50. While we introduce a fix to prevent Ruffians from despawning in expeditions, players can still progress through objectives a bit too fast for these champions to spawn. As such, we're reducing the requirement to help players meet the requirements a bit faster. We also drop vendor upgrades required, 14 down from 23. This would be the equivalent of completing the first 7 weeks of Season the Challenge that reward repute, the upgrade currency. We changed promote and summon first mates to doing it one time each. We realized this step didn't have a deep enough tutorial for some players to fully grasp and requires a lengthy grind to unlock all 3 first mates. And we changed the seal requirement to complete 8 out of the 9 triumphs. This should allow some flexibility for players as they progress through triumphs and seasonal challenges to unlock the seasonal title. Stay tuned at Bungie Help for further announcements. Yeah, guys, I think think actually what's going on is a lot of people just lost interest in the seasonal activity this season. So Bungie's hoping actually lowering the requirements here might motivate players to finish these activities out and get that seal. Moving on, game securities updates. While we know you're hungry for Crucible news, we have one final update for you before we get to the goods. Earlier this week, our security team made some changes to help protect our competitive Crucible experience and more. We're keeping the details a bit light for the sake of security, but here's the update in their words. So from the security team, the team is continuing to improve upon detections and mitigations gained with BattleEye. With their help, we've implemented a mitigation against network tools used to gain an unfair advantage in various activities. We will continue to collect data and observe this behavior to strengthen our detections as time goes on. Competition is best when fair. While we are evaluating this data, we will continue to issue bans to those abusing these methods. As always, please leverage our in-game reporting tools or make a report right here on Bungie.net when encountering other players that you suspect may be cheating. I'm interested to know if this actually includes like Zim and Cronus. We made an entire video on that. If BattleEye can detect that, that would be a huge change. Now moving on to the big stuff, the Crucible and the future. Today we'll be digging into what Crucible is for Destiny 2. Philosophies behind things like quick play and ranked will be explained, and we'll be speaking about quite a few general changes we're making as part of our upkeep. Some of these sections will be dense, others will be a breeze of bulleted lists and patch note previews. If you're not into deep diving, here's a quick bulleted summary for you. TLDR, we define our goals for the Crucible ecosystem. We're updating our Crucible playlist structure to streamline our Crucible offerings and help focus our Crucible population, collapsing Control and Clash into a single quick play playlist, bringing some of our lesser played game modes into weekly rotators. We're also introducing a new Crucible seal, bringing Ingram focusing to Lord Shaxx to give players more ways to engage with Crucible rewards. And in Lightfall, we'll be expanding Ingram focusing to include older weapons and armor sets across Crucible, Iron Banner, Trials, and more. Now, Season 19, Iron Banner is getting a new mode and legacy armor sets that veteran Guardians should recognize. We're also updating our matchmaking techniques between skill, connection, and team sizes to provide better experiences in the Crucible. This starts with quick play and will roll out to more playlists over time. We're also tuning quitter suspension parameters for quick play. We're testing new matchmaking techniques and trials to hopefully provide better experiences to solo and duo fire teams without the need for freelance. This will help us reassess the flawless pool for Season 20 and beyond. We're bringing more maps to the Crucible over the next year. 2 maps are returning from earlier years of Destiny 2, and a brand new map is being added during the year of Lightfall. We're introducing competitive division to act as our ranked Crucible space for players seeking to test their skill. Still here? Sweet. The following changes have been developed by the team dedicated to Destiny 2's ritual modes. What started with our Trials revamp many seasons ago has become a fun development cycle that now spans multiple rituals. We've been focusing on given activities, Gambit, Iron Banner, and now Crucible during seasonal development to revisit and reset our goals and address player feedback. For Crucible, there's quite a bit on the table, and it's always a multi-part conversation. In early December, we'll have sandbox and balance information. Today, we'll be talking about playlists, modes, and places you play. Without further ado, though, let's get to it. All right, this is gonna be the dick portion, fellas. Buckle up! Player experience goals. So from the development team, as part of our continuing evolution of Destiny, we like to revisit various aspects of the game to see how well they fit with the rest of the game. To help give some context to changes we are making to the competitive ecosystem, we like to lay out our thoughts on the overall philosophy, our player experience goals, and how different aspects of the Crucible fit together. So casual Crucible, quick play, rotators, and laps. Find a fair game, make friends, and stay as long as you're having fun. Real life comparison, pick up games at the gym. Iron Banner, week-long celebration of PvP and Destiny that draws in everyone. Real life comparisons, exhibition play at a block party. Trials of Osiris, prove your skill and build against worthy rivals. Real life comparison, high stakes pro-am tournaments. Ranked play, fair matches, measure yourself. Growth you can see and feel. Stakes are always high. Real life comparisons, local recreational leagues. Dude, it's kind of funny Bungie's giving us these IRL comparisons. Private match, make the game you want, play with your friends, and stay as long as you're having fun. Real life comparisons, game night with friends. Boy, wouldn't that be fun if we had a Forge mode, right? With these definitions in mind, let's get into the thick of it. To help us achieve our goals, we have numerous changes planned for Season 19 and beyond. So starting with the Season 19 playlist updates. We begin our journey of Crucible updates with a long look at what the current offerings are in Destiny 2. There are objective modes like Control, elimination-centric modes like Clash, and competitive modes like Survival, Elimination, or Showdown. When going through the experience and looking at back-end data, we felt it would be best to streamline some of these offerings and help focus players on specific playlist offerings while meeting our player experience goals that were listed above. So starting in Season 19, the Crucible screen will have the following options. Quick Play 6v6. This is now a playlist with both Clash and Control. It will use loose skill-based matchmaking, emphasis on loose, which we have tuned during Season 18. Weekly Rotator 6v6 and Free-For-All. This rotates weekly between Momentum Control, Mayhem, Team Scourge, Rift, and Rumble. Use purely connection-based matchmaking. That's interesting. So Rumble is being taken out and thrown into the rotator. Wow. Dude, I've got some dedicated Rumble players I know that are not gonna like that. Competitive Division and Freelance 3v3. This is now a playlist, randomly picking Survival, Rift, and Showdown. These modes showcase a variety of playstyles designed to show how good you really are. It uses a new skill-based matchmaking setting built using concepts we developed for loose skill-based matchmaking tuning, but timed to match you more closely against opponents of your skill. Interesting. Notice, for all three of those modes, we will have Freelance 3v3, which is nice. Crucible Labs. During Season 19, Labs is showcasing 3v3 Rift with asymmetric maps. Labs has a stacking plus 25% reputation booster, and Crucible Labs will use connection-based matchmaking. Ah, okay. Interesting there. 3v3 Rift. I'm curious if we can go the other direction, like 12v12 Rift. Private Match. This will continue to act as your place to train up in a given mode and play against your friends, host small tournaments, or mess with an activity setting to make silly modes. Now, the Crucible screen will also update during the limited time PvP events. Trials of Osiris 3v3. When Trials is active, it replaces Crucible Labs. Trials uses ticket-based matchmaking and the flawless pool, though we have some news on that below too. Iron Banner and Freelance CC6. When Iron Banner is active, it replaces the quick play node. Iron Banner is going to be moving to loose skill-based matchmaking during Season 19. I'm curious to know how loose are we talking, right? Like, what is the parameter here? Here's an example of what the Crucible Director will look like during an Iron Banner week with Rumble as the featured weekly rotator mode. Ah, look at this consolidation. All right, so you got Iron Banner there on the right, Freelance next to it. You got Competitive in the middle, Freelance next to it, Crucible Labs there to the left, Rumble as the weekly rotator. This consolidation, guys, by the way, we've seen Bungie do this in the past. They've gone back and forth so many times. They're like, yo, here's a ton of playlists. And they're like, oh my God, this is a nightmare for connections because we have everybody split in so many different playlists. Must consolidate, which is what you're seeing right here. Now let's talk strategy a bit more about player populations. We have a few analytics we like to look at and determine playlist health. Average daily and weekly concurrent players, as well as weekly playtime per player in the playlist. So Iron Banner, average population, high. Playtime per player, high. Yeah, actually, I've played more Iron Banner this season than ever before. Control, average population, high. Playtime per player, medium. Trials of Osiris, average population, medium. Playtime per player, high. Survival, medium, with playtime being medium. Really? Survival's medium right now? Who the hell is playing comp? Mayhem, high. Playtime per player, low. Momentum, high. Playtime, low. Private Match is medium, low, with playtime being medium. Elimination, medium, low, with playtime being low. Scorch varies. Clash also varies, both with a playtime of low. Rumble, low. Playtime per player, low. Showdown, low. Playtime per player, low. Interesting. I expected Rumble to be higher. Okay. It's very obvious that Iron Banner has become like the most popular playlist. Now, key takeaways. To no surprise, the champions of both numbers of daily and weekly players and or playtime per player are Iron Banner, Control, and Trials of Osiris. Glory Survival gets a decent population and strong time per player. Again, why? I'm surprised we have people playing comp. Rotators are a mixed bag. Momentum, Control, and Mayhem get lots of players the weeks that they are active, but don't come close to getting as much playtime as other offerings. Clash and Scorch do better or worse depending on the season and weekly offerings. Finally, we get to the always on options. Elimination, Rumble, and Private Match. You would think since Private Matches offers no extrinsic rewards, drops, bounties, etc., it would have the fewest players and the least playtime, but you would be wrong. Very wrong. That's good, man. I like people who are actually partying up and jumping in private matches. Granted, we jump into private matches, but it's always for play testing. So we're not exactly playing, we're just play testing. And we sit there for hours and hours play testing stuff. So I am curious to know if people are actually loading in private matches to actually play or if they're doing it to test things. Who knows? Now with the findings above, we decided to move some modes around. We've heard from players that they generally enjoy Clash and would love to see it more often. So we created the quick play playlist to feature both Control and Clash. To help focus player populations and invite more players to engage in the solo Crucible combat of Rumble, we'll be moving this mode to our weekly rotator playlist a few times a season. Elimination will be unique to Trials of Osiris or private matches if players would like to practice, and Showdown has been moved to the competitive division playlist to give some variety as players climb the new divisions. As always, we'll be monitoring the experience, conversation, and data as these refreshed playlists roll out. Nothing set in stone though, and we're excited to see how these evolve over time. I will say this, guys, consolidation of playlists is always a good thing. I've always been saying for a long time, considering connections inside of Destiny 2 and peer-to-peer, you need more players in the playlist. So although increasing overall player time is important, consolidating those playlists will make the overall experience for everyone much better. With that being said though, I think this is a good step in the right direction, but it really comes down to execution, more specifically execution of the competitive mode. We'll see. Now, Crucible Rewards. Starting in Season 19, players will have the new Triumph and a new title to chase. When creating this new title, we have many goals centered around ways for players to express their Crucible prowess, slaying enemies, capturing objectives, and even climbing through some of the divisions of our new competitive division, which we speak to in depth towards the end of our Crucible write-up. So say hello to Glorious. When it comes to gilding, we've taken a pass on the requirements from Unbroken to relieve stress. Win streaks and reaching specific glory thresholds over multiple seasons are no longer required. We'll be challenging you to win a number of matches during a given season and reach the Adept division. More on that below. For gilding, but all of this can be accomplished within a single season. If you see someone with a gilded glorious, you know they are the best of the best. Okay, flex time. Now what's the loot? Now Lord Shaxx Ingram focusing. Starting in season 19, Lord Shaxx will offer the ability for players to focus Crucible weapons and armor. Crucible will be the fourth of the core rituals after Trials with Osiris, Gambit, and Iron Banner to get a comprehensive Ingram focusing option, helping players target specific pieces of gear that they've been hunting. So Crucible Ingrams will be a virtual currency and live exclusively on the rank progress bar on Lord Shaxx. Crucible Ingrams may be opened individually by players directly on Shaxx. Crucible gear focusing, you can focus the Crucible Ingram directly into either Crucible armor or Crucible weapons. Crucible gear focusing costs for season 19, 1 Crucible Ingram, 10,000 glimmer, and 50 legendary shards. Jesus, that glimmer cost though, right? Holy hell. Crucible Ingrams do not need to be claimed in order to be spent on focusing. See note below. Individual pieces of gear must have been acquired at least once prior to being available for focusing. Crucible armor available for focusing in season 19, Clutch Exto set. Now the Crucible weapons available for focusing in season 19 will include Stars and Shadow. That's actually a good pulse rifle. The Keening, Frozen Orbit. Okay. Survivor's Epitaph, Sorrow's Verse, Crisis Inverted, Riptide. By the way, guys, we made an entire list on weapons you need to get before the next season, and Riptide was actually one of them, and Out of Bounds. Now, brand new Crucible weapons are only available as drops during their introductory season, and are then available for focusing the following season. Other Shaxx changes: the Kill Tracker Ghost Shell will no longer appear at Lord Shaxx if it has already been acquired. It may be reacquired from collections. Note, Shaxx is using a new Ingram system that lets us use the Ingram store directly on the vendor for focusing, rather than needing to pull it into your Ingram inventory, and making this change is more convenient for you and lets us more easily shift the main cost burden from lots of legendary shards and glimmer to multiple Ingrams. While the current costs are similar to Gambit's, expect a larger focusing rebalancing pass, read lower glimmer and legendary shard costs with Lightfall, as well as all of the ritual vendors converted over into this new system. A wallet item showing you all the various Ingram counts will also be available in season 20. All right, so that's a good thing, guys. Essentially, you don't have to pick up an Ingram first to then focus. It will just pull one of the Ingrams there at the top right when going to focus, or you can just pull the Ingram directly and get your reward. Also, look at Bungie flexing damn near 1 million legendary shards. Good God. Now, introducing Iron Banner Fortress. Back in Season the Haunted, Saladin reestablished the Iron Banner as the twice-a-season PvP celebration for everyone. Guardians from all around wear their flaming Iron Banner armor and compete for the love of competition. Since then, we have brought Rift into Destiny 2 and introduced our first new mode since Team Scorch, Iron Banner Eruption. We want to continue this tradition of introducing unique spins on existing modes. So for Season 19, let us introduce you to Iron Banner Fortress. In Iron Banner Fortress, the core gameplay is capturing and holding zones. If that sounds like zone control to you, you'd be right. The real fun begins when Kaido gets involved. But we'll leave some of this for you to experience firsthand when Iron Banner Fortress launches on January the 3rd, 2023. Let's just say a few of you may be dying to cap a hill. LOL! All right, look at that. Got some Cabal weaponry in there. It was only a matter of time before Kaido started to get involved with Iron Banner, especially since her and the Salad Man have been getting freaky, or so we assume. Now, Iron Banner rewards. In Season 19, players can expect to earn a few returning Iron Banner weapons not seen since earlier days of Destiny 2. So if auto rifles or slug shotguns are your thing, Saladin has something special for you. Updated with random rolls, fresh perks from the last few seasons, and the Iron Banner origin trait, we're looking forward to seeing what rolls you chase. That's not all. It's been about a year since our last Iron Banner armor refresh. We've seen some wonderful themes throughout the years. Inspirations draw from ages past. Focus on the looks of a true warrior. This year, we'll be returning to some fan favorite sets coming from an era of a Taken King. Oh, look at that, man. Sexy. Now, we're expecting these to be a fun complement to many sets in the game and looking forward to your fashion statements coming out of Iron Banner next season. All right, looking pretty good. Now, moving on to new matchmaking techniques. Fire team-based matchmaking. Starting in the first week of Season 19, we'll be testing a new quick play matchmaking parameter that should excite many of you. Fire team-based matchmaking. At a high concept, FBMM means that your fire team's makeup should match your opponent's. And if you join a matchmaking queue as a full team of 6, you should generally match against another full fire team. Depending on how long you wait in matchmaking, it might start a match against a fire team of 5 plus a solo. Now, if you wait longer, you might start against a fire team of 4 plus a duo or even 2 solos. And if you're on a smaller fire team, you might match with a larger fire team against 2 fire teams of similar size or against all smaller fire teams. As with all of your other matchmaking parameters, as explained in the Season 18 TWAB, fire-based matchmaking can be loose or strict as we want. For quick play, we'll be fairly generous, allowing slightly mismatched fire teams if skill is similar and connections are fast. Now, once we have ample time to test these matchmaking settings, we're actually planning to roll them out to more playlists. So Iron Matter, Trials of Osiris, and more could receive this same treatment. As next season starts, just before the holiday period, we'll be taking a bit of time to make sure things are solid. Expect more news and updates in January. This is good. I would say majority of the time I am playing as a solo player. Sometimes though, it is nice to kind of like dunk on an entire team, right? At the same time, if you are rolling 6 stack, I think it's kind of fun to be matching against another 6 stack, right? Team on team. Now, improving connection at the high end. Over the last season, we've been monitoring and adjusting loose skill-based matchmaking and its settings that were applied to quick play. While we're seeing better matches for many players, we're also seeing issues with player connections when getting into higher skill bands. To address this, we're planning to roll out a second new matchmaking feature. Yes, our programs and tech designers have been busy, called dynamic skill ranges. At a high level, this feature increases the skill window our system looks for when matchmaking if you are in a lower population skill bracket or during a particularly low population time. Example, 2:30 a.m. Pacific, when many are sleeping or just waking up. The intention here is to increase the window enough to give those players playing at low population times additional good connections to choose from without harming the skill balance significantly. This is the next step in our evolution of loose skill-based matchmaking that we introduced in Season 18. I do want to reiterate here, guys, at no point has Bungie mentioned leaving behind skill-based matchmaking. It's just getting loosened, okay? Now, due to timing, holidays, we hope to roll out dynamic skill ranges sometimes in January, but we expect it to significantly increase connection qualities and matches for the high skill players in control. We don't want to set a firm date just yet, and our plans will change as we tune FBMM, but we will have more information as we get closer to pushing this live. I guess it's good, man. I wish Bungie could push this out before the holidays, considering so many people are going to be out. You're going to be out of school. You're probably going to have some downtime from work. It's a great time to jump into some Crucible. It would be nice to have this rolled out before the holidays. Just saying. Now, moving on to quitter suspensions. Oh boy. During Season 18's rollout of skill-based matchmaking, we applied a competitive quitter penalty to the quick play playlist to help ensure that all skill brackets were getting fair and complete matches. Though it was done as an emergency measure, we eventually made it so that quick play had its own quitter tracking system and didn't share the one we used with competitive and trials. For Season 19, we've made the following changes. Lowered the amount of suspension time handed out for serial quitting in the quick play playlist. Added the amount of time remaining to all suspension messages and made the messages trigger when clicking on the note. If you want to know how much time you have left before you can play again, the information is now available. As we continue to roll out both of the new matchmaking techniques, FBMM and dynamic skill ranges, which addresses many of the players' feedback surrounding skill-based matchmaking and quick play, we'll be reevaluating the need for quitter penalties and quick play at all. As always, we enjoy being transparent about our matchmaking changes. Expect notifications from our awesome support and community teams on various social channels when and if we made updates to matchmaking for any node. Now, Bungie's actually throwing in that last note there, guys, because back in the day, and I'm talking like Destiny 1, Bungie added skill-based matchmaking and didn't say anything. Suddenly everybody was like, yo, why are these sweaty balls constantly in my face? Oh, it's because Bungie, on the low, added skill-based matchmaking. So thank you for your transparency now, Bungie. With that being said, though, it's kind of a telltale sign that you even had to introduce a quitter penalty, considering how many people were quitting mid-match, right? Just saying. Again, FBMM, dynamic skill ranges, man, I really do hope, guys, that this is going to make all the difference. Consolidation of playlists as well. Again, though, this is one of those things you cannot call in a TWAB. I'm not even going to try. It's like airborne effectiveness. I said it was really good when we first read it in the TWAB, but in reality, it was shite. This is going to require us to actually play it next season to really see how the Crucible experience is overall. And again, it's not about stopping bad players. That's not it. At the higher brackets, connections are terrible. Really, really terrible, guys. Hopefully all these changes will improve those things. Now moving on to Trials of Osiris. While Season 19 has much of its focus on general Crucible playlists, matchmaking, and the introduction of competitive division, we do have some upkeep planned for Trials of Osiris. For starters, we're following tradition with 2 new weapon rewards for players to hunt. Whether you are hungry for a base model of the fabled Adept variant, we have a new machine gun and a 140 hand cannon up for grabs. Oh, all right. This is where I show you an example image of Saint 14's vendor screen, but we don't want to spoil any gear icon watermarks for the new season just yet. Additionally, we're looking to add FBMM into Trials of Osiris in the future. By introducing these matchmaking changes to the playlist, we're looking to provide a larger sense of fairness for smaller fire teams and eliminate the need for a freelance node. Solos can match solos or fill in for teams of duos. Fire teams of 3 will match fire teams of 3. And while we won't have changes to the flawless pool for season 19, we're working on a new paradigm that removes the flawless pool but still provides protection for players working on Trials reputation rewards. Expect more information later in season 19, as our goal is to have Trials labs during season 20. I think something has to change there, guys, because essentially you have people that just reset constantly throughout the weekend, and I'm not necessarily hating on people that reset. A lot of them are actually doing trial carries. With that being said though, flawless protection needs to be something applied on an individual level, and I personally think that as the season goes on, and I said this a while back, but if you contribute a certain amount of games each and every single week, you eliminate one win requirement the very next weekend. Now, it can't just be you loading in the trials and not doing anything. You actually have to contribute. Maybe it's getting a certain amount of kills every single weekend. Maybe it's like 15 kills. I don't know the exact number, but the next weekend rolls around in its Trials of Osiris. Instead of requiring 7 wins, maybe it's only 6 wins. Granted, I know everyone's gonna say, Cross, this waters down the flawless experience. Dude, there are literally people in this game that have never been flawless and may never go flawless. And you're worried about them getting what? 1 adept weapon? That won't even be a god roll? Now, for the Year of Lightfall maps. This past year, we saw the return of 2 Destiny 2 maps, Eternity and Vostok. One map from Destiny 1 called Cathedral of the Dusk, and a brand new map set on Savage Throne World called Disjunction, easily the most hated map in the game. Much of our focus for this year of map content was to give players some larger spaces, lanes for sniping, and a bit of range for pulse rifle scouts and other range options. For the coming year, we're going to be bringing back 2 more maps from earlier in Destiny 2, and we just started the production on a brand new map which we expected to release in the Year of Lightfall. If you have some experience creating gameplay spaces and would like to join us creating Destiny content, be sure to check out our careers page. Specifically, keep an eye out for world art listings in the future. Dude, I can make a map. You know how I'm gonna make a map? I'm gonna go back to Halo 3 and I'm literally just gonna recreate those maps for Destiny, and I guarantee it, people would like it. Bungie, pay me in bright dust. Competitive division. Ah, yeah, here we go. After the changes to Trials of Osiris, Gambit, and Iron Banner in the last few seasons, we knew we had to look at our ranked play experience next. While the Glory playlists have been home to our core 3v3 skill-based offering for years, it had fallen behind in the rewards department since we sunset the pinnacle weapons and their quests in Beyond Light. Additionally, it was built onto a hybrid skill persistence model to enable more players to get to the top ranks than you would normally expect on a bell curve. We knew we had to revisit the reward structure as well as fit the ranking system to more closely reflect player skill. We also wanted to create something that would be familiar to players of other competitive games in multiple genres while adding our own flair. So goals for competitive division: all players can find a variety of balanced matches and feel competitive. A player's PvP division is a core part of their Guardian identity. Also, maintain places in the ecosystem to not engage in ranked play but still have decently balanced matches, or to not engage in skill-based matchmaking at all. So what is the competitive division? In season 19, we are removing Glory and adding a 3v3 ranked playlist called Competitive Division, which is a true ladder-based system. All right, take a look at these ranks, guys. You've got Copper, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Adept, and Ascendant. Holy hell. I gotta say, that is a beautiful, beautiful rank. I want it on my forehead, Bungie. Our goal is to provide players with ladders to climb and divisions to achieve, giving a more accurate representation of skill than our current Glory system. Players who surpass Gold and begin to chip away at Platinum, Adept, and Ascendant will represent some of the best Crucible players that our community has to offer. Now let's talk a bit about how you climb the ladder. This is a higher level explanation of how things work. We'll be releasing a help article closer to launch to go a bit further in depth. Oh, we'll be reading it, Bungie. At the start of the season, you will begin a placement series during which you will not gain any division rating for the first 7 games. After the 7th game, you complete the placement series and are placed into a division based on skill. Now for the first season, the highest you can be placed is Gold 3, and in future seasons, you'll be placed closer to your previous competitive division. That makes sense? I think for Halo, what was it? Is it Platinum 1 or Diamond 3? What was the cap, guys? I can't remember. It was one of those. You couldn't go any higher than that after your placement, and I think the placement for that was like 10 games. Now, as you continue to compete in the competitive division, your division rating is adjusted based on 4 major factors: match outcome, whether you win or lose; division inflation and deflation, how far above or below your division is compared to your skill; match performance, how well you performed on a match-to-match basis; and player to lobby skill delta, how your skill compares to everyone else in the match. Now, as you earn and lose division rating, if you gain enough rating to move up between subdivisions, example from gold 2 to gold 1, you automatically enter the next subdivision. Same goes for moving down subdivisions. If you gain enough rating to move up a single division, example from gold 1 to platinum 3, you enter a promotion series where you must win 2 out of the 3 games to be promoted to the next division. Similarly, if you lose enough rating to move down a division, example from gold 3 to silver 1, you enter a relegation series where you must win 2 out of the 3 games to remain in your current division. Interesting. So you can actually fight to maintain your rank, but you gotta pop off, baby. I'm curious, can you just bring in 2 sweaties after that, right? You're like, oh crap, I'm about to lose my rank. Benny, carry me. Upon reaching gold or higher, your division rating is subject to decay on a weekly basis. That is, you will lose division rating if you haven't played enough matches recently. Wow! So you gotta keep playing it. Oh, also, we will have a small intro quest that will demonstrate the competitive division system and unlock a reward listed later in this TWAB. This quest must be completed once for each account and will be available from Shaxx once you unlock Crucible as a new light or immediately for veteran players. All right, so the quest has to be completed once for each account and will be available from Shaxx even for new light players. This right here is kind of a head scratcher. Again, no paywall. Hopefully, Battle Eye is popping off. If not, you will 1000% see a lot of cheaters up in here. Now, competitive division rewards. Arguably the most important topic here, guys. You gotta have a good carrot to chase. Since competitive division is aimed at drawing a close link between skill and division, we don't see division as something to really grind for rewards. We don't want someone to feel pressure to play tons of games looking for a drop, all while your division rating drops and you ruin your division standing. Instead, we want the primary motivator to be your actual division. We aren't going to be adding any unique grindable rewards outside of those you can get anywhere in the Crucible, and really focus our rewards on weekly participation and achieving higher divisions. Secondly, we're going to be very careful about giving out high performance rewards for achieving higher divisions. Since these divisions are tightly tied to skill, some divisions will be completely unattainable to some players, no matter how much they try and play. Having some of the old pinnacle weapons tied to higher glory has some unfortunate effects on players and led us to eventually add numerous persistent features to the ranking system. To avoid that, we're going to initially keep rewards for achieving a higher division limited to efficiency rewards. So your current division gives you a multiplier on all Crucible ranks, reputation earned in Destiny, letting you earn more Crucible Ingrams, resets, and extra perks on weapons much faster. Copper and bronze, 1 times multiplier. Silver is 1.1, gold is 1.2, platinum 1.3, adept 1.4, and ascendant 1.5. So even if you aren't great at PvP, jumping into the competitive division and keeping your rank up will help you earn Crucible rewards 10 to 20% faster than now. This bonus stacks multiplicatively with both the scheduled bonus rank weeks and the hidden bonus in Crucible Labs. As a note, we are reducing bonus week Crucible rank multipliers from 2 to 1.5 in Season 19. Our goal in the above changes is to reduce the need to wait for bonus rank weeks to get the most out of your Crucible playtime. With the added bonuses provided by division, 95% of players will be earning more reputation over the course of the season than what's currently available. We'll be keeping a close eye on this change to ensure that there isn't major negative impacts on the rewards that players are earning. We also moved unique glory playlist rewards. Mine and multi-tool catalyst is just now a rare drop on any win in the Crucible. And one of the best rewards you get from the competitive division is right in the name. Your competitive division, which you have earned through the season, lets you know where you actually sit in the hierarchy of players better than KDA, win percentage, or third-party ELO rankings ever could. Now, every thorn has a rose. For our weekly participation reward mentioned above, we are bringing an old favorite back. That's right, Rose is back for the competitive division. Rose was originally a legendary hand cannon earned during the Illumina exotic quest. It has a long history in Destiny in which it was corrupted then redeemed, and now returns with random rolls and an updated perk pool. Now it states hybrid, fires like a 140 round per minute hand cannon, but allows you to move like a 150 and has stats that blend the two. So essentially, at least from what I'm getting here, guys, you're still gonna have lightweight on the weapon, if I'm perceiving this right, but it still has the rate of fire of a 140. Dude, imagine if Bungie made this the only legendary 150. Oh, its perk list is built from popular consistency perks designed to highlight 3v3 play. It also has random roll grips instead of an origin trait. Okay, there's some great stat bumps with grips. Now, how do you earn it? When you complete your competitive division intro quests once per character, you get a drop with the perk selection Rose originally had. After the intro quest, you have a character-based weekly competitive division challenge to earn another role, and that's it. You play the competitive division, earn 1 role per week per character. All right. Now, future reward updates. We aren't done here. In the season's post-Lightfall, we're expecting to get further cosmetic rewards for the competitive division. We are still working out the details of what you can earn, when you can start earning them, and how you earn them. Expect more discussion after Lightfall launches. And with that, we come to the end of our Crucible update preview. We have a little bit of something for everyone, and maybe even a lot of something for everyone. No doubt, there's some thoughts and feelings being shared among your Discord servers and text to friends already, but we'll be watching the conversation as all of these changes roll out. All right, okay, first up, I like Rose. I do. I'm happy it's coming back. However, it's a bold move to launch a competitive game mode that's completely revamped and not have any rewards tied to actual rank ups. I know they're trying to avoid another Not Forgotten and Luna's House situation, but there were more players playing competitive than ever in the history of Destiny's competitive mode because of Luna's House, Not Forgotten, and other pinnacle weapons. Did it become a problem? Yes. Not having any rewards though for hitting max rank, considering how grindy it's probably going to be to get Ascendant, is a slap in the face. This would have been a perfect opportunity to offer cosmetic rewards to those players that reach Ascendant. Maybe some sort of glow, maybe a rose ornament, something representing that, wow, you reached the top rank. You gotta have a carrot to chase. Right now, from what I'm reading, even though I love the idea of a ranked playlist inside of Destiny, especially this new revamped version of it, I can't help but think that they fumbled here on the reward side of things, which would have easily pushed so many players to jump into this playlist. And again, notice the next time they're actually going to be looking to update the rewards will be seasons post Lightfall. Not Lightfall, post Lightfall. Look, I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nancy out here. I like these updates. Comp needed it. But to be honest with you, I look back very fondly on Luna's House, Not Forgotten, and that entire grind associated with it. I felt very accomplished when we made it all the way to the very tippity top and unlocked Not Forgotten. Was it arguably the most powerful PvP weapon at that time? Yes, it was busted, and it just made players that got it even more powerful. But we have said it time and time again that we're okay with cosmetics. We're okay with a dang emblem, Bungie. We're literally okay with all of these things. You gotta give us a flex, especially considering how sexy you made those ranks. Let me put it on my armor. Let me put it on an emblem. Let me show people what I achieved. And when I say let me, I mean let any player that actually goes out there and spends hundreds of hours trying to reach that point. Let them flex it in some way. If you can constantly keep giving us new Eververse items every single season, new emblems for pretty much anything and everything that happens in the world, then by God, you can give it to us for playing your game. Now, placeholder outro was trying to keep this under 6,000, but in the current draft I'm looking at, we smashed through that initial cap. Keeping this outro short and sweet. Apologies for the brevity. No TWAB next week though. We're out on holiday. We're planning to have a blog article from the Bungie Foundation, so keep an eye out. We'll also be back with another TWAB on December the 1st. So see you next time. Cheers, DMG. Guys, that is your TWAB for this past week. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.